Hi, in the following video I recorded and shared my thoughts on whistleblowers, satellites in space, 5 and the letter, that's apparently forbidden on YouTube, and how a small group of people are allowed to take decisions for our entire species. And I share some thoughts on that. And I recorded it in my car. And at some point, that was at night. So at some point, the light goes off. So there's a part of the video which is completely black. So if you wonder why it is, that's why. So enjoy the video and thanks for watching. Hi. In this video I want to talk about I want to mention 2 examples of how small groups of people seem to be allowed to take decisions that have an impact on millions and potentially billions of people. And then I want to talk about how perceived negativity can in reality be optimism. So the first example is with a drug that has been found in recent years to treat I don't know the name in English, but the disorder is called MDLA, and it's a disorder around the eye that causes a decrease in sight, in the accuracy of sight. And so there's this drug that doctors have found, which is initially it was initially created to treat a certain type of cancer. Now, after some trials, researchers found that this drug had actually a beneficial impact on this eye disorder, and because it was produced to treat a form of cancer, Okay, I'm gonna go now. Because it was used to treat a form of cancer, it was very cheap to produce. Now, I'm not sure if you understand where I'm going with this, but essentially, another laboratory, another laboratory worked on another drug another drug which was solely used to treat this which was solely used to treat this form of eye disorder. But guess what? The price of this second drug was it was almost 1,000 times more expensive. Now, why is it, you may ask? Well, you might get caught up in believing in having faith in the medical industry, right? But then the bottom line is profit, obviously. And for this I can't have, so by the way, the lamp in my car just went off. I don't really know why, so which is why I had to go from where I was parked. I hope you can hear me well still. And so what happened is, after in the story, was that, guess what? The first drug that was used initially to treat cancer and had like the posology, I believe it's called, the indications was solely to treat cancer. And eventually the organizations that regulate how drugs are used basically asked doctors to stop using this cheap yet effective drug, all right, to sorry, I was busy. So basically what they did is they forbid the use of the cheap yet effective drug so that they could sell more of the expensive drug that was only used for the eye disorder, right? So this is one example for profit, and the second example I want to get at is that I don't know if you're aware, but these days companies like Tesla or SpaceX and Amazon are not only planning but are sending hundreds, if not thousands, of satellites around the Earth, okay, in the atmosphere, to ultimately cover the entire surface of the Earth, so that every person could eventually have access to the internet, right? Oh wow, how great, right? You might say to yourself. But here I'm asking you to think further than convenience, to think deeper than, oh, how cool it could be in terms of innovation. Because while it might indeed seem great at first glance, when we look at it from the point of view of the sanity of the earth, it might actually turn out to be a disaster. And while some people like Bezos and Elon Musk are concerned about serving humanity in a way, as they could be, as could be their intention, they fail to consider the long-term effect not only on humans in terms of electromagnetic fields, but also in the atmosphere, which is the most concerning thing. Now, I will have to link in the description the studies that refer to it, but so you can see more of the implications that sending satellites could have and will have, apparently. So, see, when people such as myself, or scientists, which are most commonly called whistleblowers, as I've heard, when whistleblowers raise awareness about those things, either of two things happen. The first thing is nobody cares, and basically their warnings go unheard of until the impact of their warnings turn out to be reality, and then they say, "Oh, you were right," and then you start to care. Or the second option is they perceive it as negativity, as people who are trying to prevent progress, right? Sounds familiar? Who try to prevent innovation. But is it really the case, I'm asking? And in that regard, this is what I wanted to get at with perceived negativity. Because see, let me park. Because see, while you might be all hyped about how cool it's gonna be, that there's gonna be 5G all around the world, and that everyone will have access to super high speed internet and whatnot, I'm concerned about what is this? What kind of impact is this action going to have on the earth in one generation from now, 2 generations from now, you see? And I know it's convenient to not care and just just be concerned about here and now, because it you have nothing to gain from caring about the earth, right? Immediately, instantly. But the thing is, what kind of world do we want to live to our children, to our grandchildren? That's what concerns me most, above all, above my pleasure of today, above anything else. And I've had discussions about such topics with CEOs, actually, and you could say change makers, who said to me that, well, whatever you say, whatever your message is, you must convey it with positivity. But what does that really mean? See? Why is a group of people allowed to take decisions for, in this case, literally the entire humanity? So in this case, for the satellites, it's only a commission of the FCC, I believe, that regulates the spatial exploration thing. Why is it that such a small group of people can take decisions who are literally going to impact 100% of humanity? I don't understand. It does not compute. I can't process this. Why a small group of people is allowed to do this? I don't understand. Now, if you can explain that to me, please do so in the comments. Because it is going to impact all of us eventually, if there are detrimental consequences after all satellites are sent, which is the case right now. From the beginning of this year, I believe maybe it was March, just before COVID, essentially, satellites are sent in waves, around the Earth to cover a certain perimeter. But again, who is going to take care of spatial waste? Since we have waste, plastic waste on land, on Earth. We have ocean waste, but now then what? Spatial waste. Let's talk about that. Who is going to clean up the mess once again? See, we talk about innovation, we think about all the great things we can do, all the progress we can make as a species technologically, but what's the point of doing so? I'm gonna get off the car now. What's the point of doing so if we don't consider holistically the consequences on the Earth? Because, see, if it doesn't matter, it doesn't make a difference that we advance technologically today. So, as an example, let's take a longer time frame, alright? Let's say we take it 100 or 200 years, 2 centuries, 1 or 2 centuries as a time frame. It might seem like a long time to you, but yet at the scale of our race or the history of the earth. What's that? It's a second. It's nothing. So what I want to get at with this is, great, we might advance technologically right now within the span of 1 or 2 centuries. But then what good is going to do if it's going to sabotage and destroy the entire earth to essentially render it uninhabitable? Tell me. So to me it seems that it doesn't matter the extent of the technological advancement that we might make if at the end of the day we fail to consider the sanity of the earth and the sustainability above all. So, on one hand, you might perceive someone to be negative about something that's happening now. And I understand that you would perceive it as negative, obviously, if you take a short time frame, which is understandable. Now, then, if you extend the time frame to a much longer time span, you begin to realize that it's actually demonstrating optimism at the scale of humanity and the earth to actually be concerned about those things, to consider those consequences. Thanks for watching for humanity and the earth.